The interrogation chamber aboard the Catherian dreadnought Sovereign's Might hummed with the low thrum of recycled atmosphere. Commander Vexithala stood 7 feet tall, her chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the harsh overhead lights. 4 arms crossed in what her species considered a gesture of authority. She stared down at the lone human prisoner seated in the center of the room. Marcus Chen looked unremarkable by any galactic standard. Average height for his species, wearing the tattered remains of what had once been a Union Navy uniform. His ship had been destroyed 3 days ago during the failed defense of Kepler 442b. He was the sole survivor, and the Catherians wanted to know why humanity continued to resist, when every logical analysis suggested surrender. "Your species fascinates me, human," Vexithala said, her translator rendering her clicks and hisses into standard galactic. "We have conquered 17 star systems. Our weapons technology surpasses yours by centuries. Our ships outnumber yours, 1,000 to 1. Yet still you fight." Marcus remained silent, his dark eyes fixed on something beyond the commander's shoulder. "I have studied your military records," she continued, beginning to pace with the measured steps of a predator. "Humans possess no natural armor, no claws, no venom, no electromagnetic manipulation abilities like the Zelani, no quantum phase shifting like the Morphids. You are, by every biological metric, utterly unremarkable." The human's lips curved into something that might have been a smile. "We get that a lot." Vexithala's mandibles clicked in irritation. "Your flippancy will not serve you here. I require a demonstration. You will show me these combat capabilities that make your species believe it can stand against the Catherian Empire." "With what?" Marcus gestured to the empty chamber. "You've taken everything, no weapons, no equipment, no tools." "Precisely." The commander's forearms spread wide. "If humans are truly the warriors your propaganda claims, prove it. Build something. Fight something. Show me why the Empire should consider your species anything more than a minor inconvenience." Marcus was quiet for a long moment, his gaze sweeping the chamber. The walls were smooth metal, interrupted only by ventilation grates and a few exposed conduit runs. Basic maintenance hatches dotted the floor at regular intervals. Everything was utilitarian, functional, stripped of anything that could be weaponized, or so the Catherians thought. "I'll need 4 hours," Marcus said finally. Vexithala's laugh was like breaking glass. "You have one." The human shrugged and stood up. "Then I guess we'd better get started." What followed was perhaps the most bewildering hour in Commander Vexithala's long military career. The human began by examining every surface, every joint, every seemingly insignificant detail of the chamber. He ran his fingers along weld seams, tested the flexibility of conduit covers, and spent several minutes staring intently at the ventilation system. Then he began to dismantle things, working with nothing but his hands and an apparent understanding of basic engineering that defied explanation. Marcus carefully removed screws by using the edge of his uniform's metal rank insignia. He pried open a maintenance panel and extracted thin strips of flexible metal. From the ventilation grate, he somehow coaxed loose 3 perfectly straight metal rods, each about 18 inches long. "What are you constructing?" Vexithala demanded as the human continued his methodical scavenging. "Something old," Marcus replied, not looking up from where he was carefully bending a piece of conduit housing. "Something your databases probably don't have records for." The commander watched in growing confusion as the human wove together strips of metal and what appeared to be synthetic fiber pulled from his own uniform. He created a framework from the salvaged materials, using precise stress points and tension that suggested an intimate understanding of mechanical principles. With 30 minutes remaining, Marcus had assembled what looked like an elongated frame with a curved piece at one end and a precise mechanism in the middle. He tested the action several times, making minute adjustments with the patience of a craftsman. "This is your great weapon?" Vexithala scoffed. "A collection of scrap metal?" Marcus looked up at her then, and something in his expression made the commander's combat instincts suddenly flare to life. "Commander, you asked for a demonstration of human combat capabilities, but you're thinking about this all wrong. It's not about what we can build with advanced technology. Any species can master that given enough time and resources. He stood holding his creation with obvious familiarity. The question is, what can we build with nothing? What happens when you strip away every advantage, every tool, every weapon, and leave us with just our hands and our minds and whatever's lying around? From seemingly nowhere, Marcus produced a bolt, a straight piece of metal he'd somehow shaped and balanced during his construction. He fitted it into his device and raised the weapon to his shoulder. The real question, Commander, is this. How many of your guards are standing behind that observation window? Vexithala's four eyes widened as she suddenly understood what she was looking at. Not just a weapon, but something that shouldn't exist. Something primitive and mechanical that her sensors hadn't even recognized as a threat. Her hand moved toward her communicator, but she was too late. The crossbow released with a sharp crack. The bolt punched through the reinforced observation window as if it were paper, and Vexithala heard the distinctive sound of Catherian armor being penetrated in the room beyond. Alarms began blaring throughout the ship. Marcus lowered the weapon and looked directly at the commander. That's what makes us dangerous. Give a human some scraps in an hour, and we'll find a way to kill you with it. It doesn't matter how advanced your technology is, because we've been solving the problem of how to kill the thing that wants to kill us for 200,000 years. He set the crossbow on the floor and stepped back, hands raised. We don't need to be stronger or faster or better armored. We just need to be more creative. And Commander, when it comes to finding new ways to fight with whatever's at hand, humans have been writing the manual since we first picked up rocks and realized they made excellent projectiles. As Catherian security forces flooded into the chamber, Vexithala found herself staring at the simple weapon on the floor, made from scraps, built in an hour, deadly effective. For the first time since the war began, she understood why the human fleets kept fighting against impossible odds. It wasn't courage or stubbornness or any noble principle. It was because for humans there was no such thing as being truly unarmed. There was only the challenge of figuring out what to build next.